Okay, so I'm back from France. When I left, the weather was beautiful and it was super dry and the ground was rock solid. And I've got back and it's literally like autumn has arrived since I've been away. Like I've been in some sort of French time warp and now autumn is here. We needed it. The rain is much appreciated, but it is still quite warm. Very unusual. Global warming for you folks. So this is the horses' last week off from their mid-season 1 month break. I love giving the horses a break. I find especially with youngsters it gives them a chance to repair, kind of just decompress a little bit, take on board everything they've done, and then they're a bit more up for it when you come back into training. So I tend to give my horses a month off mid-season, and if they're racing and they're doing the big mileage, then they would have a month off after a race anyway, so it kind of happens naturally. But for Estrid I had to schedule it in because she's been in quite consistent training and she only gets a week to 2 weeks depending on what I'm up to off after a 40k. So I wanted to have a good block off before doing what I was going to do next. So they've got 1 week left, so I'm just going to take you through what I do with them every day, which is very, very little, because they're literally just sat in a field, minimum care to keep everything as it should be. And yeah, I wanted to kind of take stock of where we're at, because I set some goals at the start of the year and we've smashed them, which is amazing. So I wanted to kind of go through with you like how those goals went, how I think this year has gone so far, and what I want to do next, because actually there's quite a lot of the season left. So first of all, I am just making up their feeds to take down to the field. I've got to poo pick, scrub the water buckets and all of that. So let's go down to the field and I'll run you through my thoughts on my season so far and also what we're going to get up to next. There you go. There you go. Okay. So, season so far I think has gone very well. I set my goals in January of I wanted to take Tizzy to man versus horse and complete it, have a good time, actually enjoy racing with no pressure. That couldn't have gone better. Had the best time, such a good experience. And Estrid, I wanted her to complete her novice season. So we got off to a little bit of a rocky start with the lorry breaking down. But after that, she aced it. There was a lot of umming and ahhing whether she'd actually get through vetting because her heart rate was so high and she was so stressed and nervous about being at venues. But every time I take her out, she's getting way, way better, and I'm so proud of like how she's come on. Like out on course, dream horse. Like I didn't even think we'd be able to slosh her this year, but at the last event it was quite warm and she took the sloshes really, really well. And she was drinking and she's taken to being crewed really well. So she's progressed loads. And I'm really, oh sorry sister, I was just getting a twig out your mane. And I'm really happy with her. So she is now an open endurance horse. So in the UK, our qualification system is slightly different to what the FEI, the minimum standards for the FEI. So if you're a novice rider with a novice horse, the rider has to do 40, I think it's like 30 something to 50k, but let's just say 5 40-kilometer-ish rides to upgrade, and the horse has to do 3. But because I'm an advanced rider, Estrid only had to do, Estrid only had to do 3 novice rides, which she aced. She got placed in the performance formula every time. I think we've had a first, second and third, which is awesome. But now she's open, we want to upgrade and move up the levels again. Hey? Oh, the weather, it's so windy. I'm sorry if the sound is bad, but I can't change the weather. Right, should we sort out your water? Okay, buckets. These always get so gangrene-y. Not gangrene-y, that would be disgusting. Algae-y so quickly. So when they get to, I don't like to waste too much water, but when they get to this level, give them a good scrub, and then we can, do you want some before I do this? No, you're good, and then we can refresh them with nice fresh water. So I was saying, Estrid is gonna need to upgrade to advanced. So she's open now, she needs to upgrade to advanced. So to upgrade to advanced in the UK, you need to do 2 60 to 90 kilometre rides. Are you okay there? Yeah? And the FEI also say to do a 1-star, Tiz wants butt scratches. She's literally going to reverse into me in a minute. So, Tizzy, in a minute, okay? I'll give you butt scratches in a sec. Let me do the buckets first. Anyway, so the FEI need 2 80Ks, under 16k an hour, before you can do a 1-star. And EGB need 2 60 to 90Ks before you can upgrade to advanced. So, Estrid, I don't think, in my opinion, is ready to do a 1-day 80. Tiz is about to eat you. You gonna eat them, you dribbly pony. I don't think she's mentally ready. Her fitness is great. Tizzy, leave it alone. Oh dear, what are you like? So I don't think Estrid is ready to do an 80k in a 1 day. Her fitness, pre getting fat, not a problem. Like, she didn't find 40k difficult, her heart rates out on course were good. I just don't think she's mentally ready for a vet gate and that kind of slightly higher stress environment, more things going on and around. So mentally she's not ready for an 80k, and she doesn't need to do an 80k yet. She's still quite young, and it's not necessary. We're not in a rush. She's only 7. She's not physically or mentally mature enough. But there's still a lot of the season left. Hello. And I've got planned with her God, the flies are awful. I've got planned with her a 32k pleasure ride, because there's no need for me to pay the extra to do the graded rides, really. I'm not looking for points or like national trophies or anything. You try and steal the show. You always do anyway, Tizzy. You don't need to try. A 32k novice. I've also got planned another in-hand horsemanship kind of day, which is really exciting. We did one back in October in an indoor school, and I found it really beneficial. So we've actually got an outdoor all-day clinic coming up. So I could just do that. I could carry on with just pleasure rides, taking her to different venues, really exposing her and getting that mental side prepared. But on the other hand, I could prep her for next year, and do a bit more mileage this year to take the pressure off next year, maybe. So I'm thinking about potentially doing a 2-day 80. So a 2-day 80 does count to upgrade you to advanced. So it's a ride between 60 to 90k, and one of them has to be a 1-day 80 kilometre. So a 2-day 80 would count towards my qualifications to go advanced. So that might be on the cards. It's at the end of September. I think if you remember back to January, I had like a 40k planned every month that I could go to as a contingency plan, and the one, Tizzy wants butt scratches, the one that has the 2-day 80 option is in the end of September. So I've got 11 weeks to train and decide whether we enter that, and entries open in 4 weeks. So I'm not really sure whether we're going to go for it or whether we're just going to poodle along at the lower distances and get more experiences and stuff. So that's my thoughts on kind of the rest of this season for Estrid. Come on then, let's do some butt scratches. You're so demanding, little butt. While they munch, I always put some hoof oil or any kind of hoof stuff, and I don't clean the hoofs off at the bottom, but I just make sure they're moisturised from the top down. Normally when it hasn't rained so much, the hooves are quite clean, so it's fine. Obviously I clean their hooves when they come in, but for field purposes I just lob it over the top. So Tizzy now, she's had her month's break. She's actually had a week extra than Estrid, so she's in week 5 now. I just want to keep her ticking over, keep her nice and muscled, but not train her quite as much anymore. So just ride her 1 or 2 times a week, take her to some pleasure rides, keep her like going, make sure she gets quite a lot of kind of maybe a little bit more, a bit fatter. So Estrid's too fat really. She's ballooned in her week off, but Tizzy is probably now where I want her to be. And I want her to go into winter with a good coverage so she has something to lose. So Tizzy is literally just going to tick over, have fun. Got a few pleasure rides lined up, but no like major goals, nothing that I really want her to be able to do. So let's just finish off your hooves. Waters are filled, so I feed them. I all their hooves every other day pick out. I know that some people do that every day, but I just don't find they need it in this climate, in like the actual hoof moisturizer. Check them over for lumps and bumps, like when I'm bimbling around feeding them and doing stuff. I always keep an eye and I look at their legs, and I think when you know your horses so well, you can see when something's wrong. Like it's instantly like, oh, something's going on. But then fly spray them, and then once they've had their food, they leave me because they've had their butt scratches, they've had their food, they've been pampered, off they go, they don't need me anymore. So next up, I poo pick. Exciting! The glamorous life of having horses, I would say like 80% looking after them and moving poop, 20% actually riding. So I was going through like the qualification criteria. So the minimum amount of rides that Estrid can do to get to FEI is 3 40Ks, then 2 80Ks, one can be a 2-day, and then she has to do, that qualifies her for 1 star, then she has to do 2 out of 3 successful 1 stars to progress to 2 star, then the same for 2 star, and then she can do a 3 star. So we're looking a good minimum 2 years if like everything went beautifully and smoothly to start kind of going 2 to 3 star. In theory, you're allowed to do your first 1 star within a year of so if you've done the qualifications, the first time you're allowed to do a 1 star is no less than a year after your first novice qualification. So in theory, is it April we did a ride? April, May 2024, Estrid could, if she had the qualifications, do a 1 star. She's not going to be ready for 90k, so FEI 1 star is a 90 kilometre in a day ride, and I don't think she'll be ready next year. She won't be strong enough, we won't have done enough speed work next year, at the start of next year anyway. We'll see how she progresses. Maybe at the end of next year I will think differently and she might do a 1 star, but the plan is to get her up to advanced level, which means she can start racing at 80k and above, national level. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that maybe we'll do a 2-day 80 this year, which will go towards one of our getting to advanced qualifications, and then she will have October, November. So I always give my horses 2 or 3 months off at the end of the season just to chill. The UK weather's pretty horrible, and it gives me a chance to do other things, have other hobbies, socialise, and when I get back to training for the next season, I feel kind of more up for it. So maybe we'll do that 2-day 80, which will mean that we can go straight into next year thinking about doing an 80k graded and potentially our first ever 80k race. So we'll see what happens. There's no pressure on her. I actually have come to the conclusion this time that although I do want to make it to FEI, I'm enjoying the process. I have lots of other hobbies that I enjoy, and I'm just going to go with the flow, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and I'm not going to put pressure on getting another horse, starting again and trying to get up to that level. I'm taking it more chill. Like, the cost of things and all of that has kind of made it less easy for me to have a youngster coming up and having a plan B and like an option B horse, as horrible as that sounds. I've always wanted to have one racing and one coming up through the ranks so that all my eggs aren't in one basket, but this is the kind of the world we live in. Expenses have gone up. I have not had the best of luck over the last 10 years trying to get another horse up to FEI level, and it's been emotionally quite a lot. I've really struggled, especially this year, mentally with, although this year's gone really, really well, I think accumulatively over the past few years all the setbacks kind of hit me, because I feel like I would have never been nervous going to a ride or about getting to a ride or anything like that before, and this year I felt quite anxious about even starting, and almost like I'm quite a positive glass half full person, and I feel like I've been a little bit glass half empty this year. So I want to kind of take that pressure off myself, and just enjoy the process, enjoy what I've got, enjoy the level that Estrid can get to, and just not worry about moving up through the ranks and getting those qualifications. It doesn't mean I don't want to, because I really, really do. And that is my ambition, that is my goal. But I'm trying to take it one step at a time, like one foot in front of the other, so that, maybe protect myself a little bit from the disappointments. I don't know if that's wishful thinking or a good strategy. Who knows? But yeah, I'm enjoying her. I'm enjoying new experiences. I've actually also got Eland Lodge cross-country course booked at the end of the month to just take around the mini course, like the little 50 centimetres, just give her a good experience, another venue to get her used to things and different environments, and have a bit of fun. I want to try and make it more about fun and less about training. This little girl actually saw me walking Estrid like up to the yard the other day, and she was like, "Wow, you have a pony, she's beautiful," and like she was like, "You're so lucky." And I was like, you know what, yes I am, and I should really appreciate that. I've got 2 ponies and they're both wonderful, and I should appreciate that more, and anything else that happens should just be the icing on top. So let me get back to poo picking, and we'll conclude how this year has gone, how we want it to go, once I've picked up about 200 litres of poop. Out the way. No back. No. Oh, whistle. That is tragic. This pony knows no bounds for butt scratches. You're so silly. You could have hurt yourself. Now I'm gonna have to pick that up again. That's sad. Poo re-picked up. I tell you, Tizzy knows no bounds. When she wants her butt scratched, this is Dan's fault for giving her the best butt scratches ever. She just keeps backing into you wherever you are. And I was on the other side of the wheelbarrow, so she just pushed it over. She's fine though. She's over there. So horses are just grazing, basically, having a lovely last week off. In conclusion, this year couldn't have gone better. Like literally all the boxes ticked, done exactly what I wanted to do. Great. By July, even better. I'm going to continue to give Estrid some positive experiences, get her to lots of different venues. We've got a cross-country course booked, we've got an obstacle course booked, we've got another pleasure ride, so that she gets used to different environments and hopefully continues to progress in the way that she has already. And then I will decide, based on how she comes back into fitness and back into work, whether we aim for a 2-day 80 or not. Who knows? There's no pressure on it. We'll see how we feel, we see how we go. If it doesn't happen, it was planned for next year anyway. If it does happen, excellent, bonus. But yeah, so poo picking's done, horses are all good, all in one piece for now, and next week we shall recommence our training for enjoying summer and the rest of the season.